In today's video, we're going to be deconfessing more confessions. And the last time I did this, it really didn't feel like I did this because it was just straight brain rot for the whole video. Now, I'm making it seem like I'm expecting things to be better this time, but I genuinely have zero faith in you guys. And it's honestly my fault because as somebody who is basically clinically insane, I think that's what I'm doing. I am attracting a bunch of clinically insane people, which is kind of cute in a way. To think that this is basically like therapy for everybody involved. Nobody is unbenefiting from the other party. We're all just clinically crazy together. If you don't feel a part of that, I'm sorry. Maybe you're normal and you follow me. This individual says, you look like how I imagined Leonardo da Vinci to look like in my childhood before I saw pics of him. This is quite a weird one because I can't tell if you're trying to flirt with me or start a fire. I actually have no idea what you're trying to do here. And I honestly am a little bit confused. How did you know Leonardo da Vinci before you knew Leonardo da Vinci? Are you just imagining that anybody whose name is Leonardo da Vinci is going to be Da Vinci standard? I don't think so. This person says, I crave violence, and if it wasn't for the government, the world would have been in utter chaos thanks to me. What a wholesome, hypothetical human being. I feel like you should be in therapy, but at the same time, I feel like you're onto something. The most violent people in the world of violence is the government. So that should be the benchmark. That should be the blueprint. I kicked my sister out of the second story window once, and she blamed it on my other sister. I don't know who to blame in this situation, but it seems like this whole family tree is just finished. Somebody burned that tree down. First of all, who just decides to do live action Angry Birds and just fling their sister out of the window? Because it just seems like you want to unsister your sister. You just don't want her to exist anymore. And why is she blaming it on your other sister? Because either the fall damage got to her severely or she's just also tapped in the head. You have a big gyat, and you have a big missing parental guardian. Are you and your mother on huggable terms? I fell in love with my cousin. I don't really have anything to say about this, but I'm just putting this in the video because half of these are about people and their cousins. Somebody told me I look like their cousin, and I'm just getting tired of the cousin-oriented questions. So if you can leave your cousins out of this, I'd be greatly appreciated. Not a confession, but I want to drop out of school and live in the mountains and start a farm. That is a confession, sorry to break it to you. And I feel like this is a really relatable thought. Like, I've had this thought multiple times. I feel like this is a goal everybody should have in their life. Like, just get married, have children, and then at some point just move to the middle of Zimbabwe. I don't know why. Zimbabwe is probably pretty populated. Let's do like, I don't know, Narnia, you know, just like move to the middle of nowhere. Yeah, live with your loved ones, and that's it. I mean, I feel like that's pretty valid. That's a good goal. This is actually a realistic confession. So good job for confessing this, even though you didn't think it was a confession. I have the biggest crush on the broke bakery boy. And in parentheses, she says, still do. And I have the biggest crush on every mental asylum in my vicinity. How can we export you into one of those immediately? And obviously, jokes aside, I would not like to see you in a mental asylum. This is a very weird way to refer to someone though. Do you have a crush on him because he's broke, or do you have a crush on him because he's a bakery boy? Also, how do you know he's broke? Has he showed indications of having absolutely nothing respiratizing in his pockets? Because I feel like this is a common misconception. Like, a bakery boy is making bread, but he could also be making bread. You know what I mean? He could be making both breads. I feel like that's a big possibility. I'm speaking from experience here, not because I'm a ex-broke bakery boy, but because I always used to think, for example, plumbers were broke. I always used to think that they weren't making good money, just because I'm like, why would you get money for making a toilet spin again? And then I realized that I was just basically ignorant, and that plumbers are making 10 times whatever I'm making right now. I feel like you'd be surprised. Maybe he's secretly balling. He just has lots of bread. I just really want to keep on making the bread jokes. Okay, I'm gonna stop breading everything. Okay, here's another one, but this person has done like 4 parts, and a lot of people did like episodes and seasons in the confession area. Because I don't think you understand, Instagram doesn't just align the confessions you confessed in one area. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. So then I have to put the seasons and episodes together. So episode 47 and then episode 3. And it could be in a completely unorganized order. So yeah, just please do me a favor and try and sum it up in one tab. I couldn't care less about A-levels. I want to get married ASAP. If you know someone, please. And then they continue saying, pass it on. She's not even like requesting anymore. Now she's becoming aggressive. Pass it on. I'm 19F from Pakistan, living in Emirates. And that's the second side. Okay, I'm just going to ignore the last two slides. She basically said that she wanted to be anonymous and that people that know her also witness my videos. Therefore, she doesn't want to be exposed. By you saying this, you want to be exposed in a way, because how else am I supposed to get you plugged? But I don't think you realize the point of this video. I specifically asked for confessions, and you've managed to turn my confession area into a live Muzmatch center. So no, I'm not going to help you. I hope you do find an insignificant other. Just don't try and do this via people who just say big words on the internet. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. There's a good chance of me finding a criminal for you. I'm definitely not qualified to be a matchmaker. I don't think a lot of people are, but they still do it. But yeah, I'm not going to take that responsibility under my armpits. I ate my parents' toe crust when I was 5 when they were asleep. I'm not gonna lie, that might seem outrageous, but this is pretty respectable compared to what other people were saying in this confession area. Some of this stuff cannot be included in this video, and I have hopes and aspirations of being monetized on this channel, and some of you guys just don't want to see your boy bring in a couple of cents. That doesn't change the fact that this is an absolutely horrifying confession, and it kind of makes me miss around 35 seconds ago. I really am curious as to what life was like before reading this. But are your parents shedding? I feel like I have a good idea of what toe crust is. I'm not a toe cruster. That's not my thing. Why are you making it sound like your parents' phalanges have pizza organs? Like, that's a pizza reference. You're not supposed to be referring to toes. Is that? Maybe I'm wrong. Are we supposed to talk about toes shedding as toe crust? Secretly, I want to become a doctor, even though I'm trying. I know I might not have the potential or might not make it. I think this is a mentality that a lot of people have. I have a dream of talking to the camera for a living. That is genuinely something I want to do for a large portion of my life. That doesn't change the fact that I might be completely delusional, but you have to kind of believe your delusion. Maybe you might not have the ability to be a doctor, but if you believe that you have the ability to be a doctor, you might still kill some people while doing it, but you have a higher chance of making it happen. My sister ate a cucumber from the trash can once, and I covered it up by saying I was the one who ate it. You didn't need to, though. Like, you're not doing anybody a favor. I feel like you thought that I was gonna read this and be like, wow, this is siblingship. This is beautiful, very wholesome. No. I don't care. Your sister just poisoned herself with a trashed cucumber, and you took the blame for the trashed cucumber. So I don't know the effect of you admitting that you ate a trashed cucumber, because you said it and I didn't see a reaction. Like, you didn't say anything like, oh, my parents were extremely mad that I installed this damaged cucumber into my digestive system. Like, you didn't give me an effect, so now it just seems like you took blame for eating a trashed cucumber. I mean, that's fine, but like, what was the point? I liked a guy who was from my family without knowing it. How does this happen? And also, how did you discover that he was not? I feel like that's what I'm more interested in. How did you discover that he was a part of your family? Were you just strolling through the family museum one day and just saw a picture of the family tree hung up on the wall, and you're like, wait a minute, that brother was my 973rd fourth cousin? Wow. I feel like it's also pretty disturbing that you didn't specify which or like how close of a family member he is. Like, he could be anything, and you've just kind of left us in the open. So yeah, if you could specify, well, you can't really respond to this, but we're gonna just try and assume the best of you. My parents are first cousins, and they want me to marry my first cousin. It looks like you're just a cousin-oriented family. Clearly, they believe in cousinship. You don't have to be cousins. You can find a lot of great people who aren't related to you bloodly. Anyways, I wish you the best in out cousining your cousined parental guardians. I pooped in a Macy's fitting room and hid it in a pile of clothes. The thing is, you just didn't need to do that. But again, we're missing a lot of context clues. I feel like you guys are telling me a lot of things and not telling me the things that thinged to this thing. Nobody shops at Macy's just to shop at Macy's. They're going to Macy's to take dumps. I feel like that's the only reason they exist in malls now. I feel no empathy for a grandparent's death. I've been waiting 4 days for it to hit. Death is a really weird thing, and sometimes it takes a lot of time for it to hit. I remember when I lost somebody close to me, the first time I heard the news, that person wasn't near me. They were in another country. So it didn't really resonate, or it didn't really click until I saw them, and then it really hit me. But that was like a week later, and that week, I remember, it bothered me, but it didn't bother me to the point where I couldn't move on with my life. But then when I actually saw them, it just hit different. Sometimes these things take time. Even if they don't, I don't feel like that's a reason for you to look at yourself and be like, hey, there's something wrong with me. I think that's completely normal. The fact that you're even confessing this shows that it's bothering you, that you're not feeling any empathy. And that's empathy in a way. Don't ever think you're unempathical. I think you have emotions. You should be good. I clogged the mess out of my mom's toilet and blamed it on my sister. In parentheses, deserved, to be honest. If you haven't framed your sibling with a fart or some unhygienic crime, like what kind of brother, what kind of sibling are you? I think you really need to get sibling checked. I ate coffee grounds and gummy worms on top of pudding and threw up. I'm gonna throw this up there. I don't think that's shocking at all that you threw up in the end. I think that's a pretty reasonable outro. I am actually headed to the airport right now, and I wanted to film this video so I could edit it on the flight. But yeah, I just want to be more consistent with YouTube, and I know I say that to YouTube every time. Anyways, with that being said, I actually am really late. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.